Hey everybody, welcome to Hammer Down. This episode is kind of like that Spider-Man meme where Spider-Man's pointing at Spidey going, "Hey, that's you, that's me." I'm delighted to welcome Alex Bates to the show. I have LinkedIn known Alex, hat tip to our friends over at Arvis for that term. I've LinkedIn known Alex for a long time, and I recently saw him post out, I'm joining a new company, and the company's name is Hammer Down. So I thought, hey, opportunity for Hammer Down to meet Hammer Down. I'm sure there's a sponsorship opportunity for Department of Redundancy department coming. But more importantly, that Alex, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Like I just told you, I'm not a podcast guest very often, but I always take the opportunity.
Alex, right, let's get into it. There are several well-known, we'll call them recruiters in this space, but Hammer Down's doing something a little bit different. What's the secret sauce?
I mean, secret sauce for us, man. We're obviously in a saturated market. We're doing outsourced in the logistics space, and we knew that going into it. We've been around it. I've been around it firsthand. But I think what we bring to the table is that I was born and raised in Canada, ended up in Serbia as like a little vacation, and I've been here for almost 6 years now. So I think having boots on the ground in this space with me living here full time might be the secret sauce for our company.
Okay, gotcha. What's the differentiator?
Well, let's go, through the story a little bit here. It's a very
Sure.
brief company origin story. I mean, we opened 10 days ago. I've been working with Ben Ham the last 2 years through PGT Northside, which is his brokerage company. We've scaled 100% year over year, 2 years in a row since I came on, adding the outsource into his operation. So we've seen obviously massive success in the outsource support that we've, established internally. And it was just kind of a logical next step. He has a lot of friends over there asking, hey, how did you grow like this? What's your secret? And he said we added in this outsource, side of things. We've scaled. We haven't lost any quality. Our customers are happy, and now it's just kind of logical. People want to know how to get into it themselves, how to get that type of service themselves. So we said, you know what? We have enough people asking us. Let's just start the company and offer the same thing we did here for other people.
All right, got it. So focusing on the outsource side, if I've got it right, you're probably looking mainly at back office operations. Where can we, you know, take roles that are or take segments of roles that are maybe not the most fun thing in the world? Where can we get that off of individuals' plates so that they're focused on the most meaningful work while holding on to, crisp operations, while making sure that SOPs are met, while making sure that customers are in happy. Is that the way to think about this?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, our biggest success for roles at the moment has been our tracking team. So think of it, a little bit more aggressive or a little bit more responsibility than just saying, the ETA is this to our customers. We have a very experienced tracking team. We've gone about it a different way where most people outsource, lower experienced people in logistics or sometimes no experienced people and teach them how to call a driver and ask them where they are. We go about things a little different. We give you guys with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years experience as dispatchers who wanted maybe a lower stress role, so now they're doing tracking. But the good thing about that is that they know all the excuses, all the tricks in the book. They've been around the block. So, you have a tracking team, but they're not really a tracking team, are they? They're undercover dispatchers who know exactly what's going on, and they're very experienced. So, our customers have a great time dealing with them. Carriers enjoy dealing with them. And it's a little different than your run-of-the-mill tracking team.
Got it. Now I'm with you, man. It's funny you
Yeah.
mentioned kind of the knowing the ins and outs component of this. Years ago, I worked with a company that was doing they'd created tags that you could put on your container or on your pallet, and it was offering kind of like an early version of track and trace. It was connecting to 2G and 3G signals, and there was this section in North Carolina, and it made me laugh. A truck would go in, disappear off the map, and 2 hours later it would pop up on the other side. And as it turned out, we'd kind of figured out like what the hell's happening here. It turns out it was a gentleman's club in North Carolina where truckers were stopping for a couple hours and they'd put up cell phone blockers to block
Oh,
out track
wow.
and trace on this. It's cool to have somebody that knows not only, hey, what this truck disappeared for 2 hours, which sounds crazy, but more importantly, kind of why that might be.
That's actually probably the most insane story I've heard in my 6 years in logistics because we've had the guys, obviously, I used to be a dispatcher for a few years, and like we've had the guys stop off at those type of establishments, especially going through Las Vegas. And I actually think it's hilarious that they've found out, and they know their market, right? They know truck drivers are coming here. They know they're getting in trouble from track and trace teams. So they're like, you know what? Here's a solution for you guys. You guys can stop by.
Exactly. All right. So track and trace, is there a dispatch component? What are some of the other offerings?
Yeah, so let's just keep going through. I mean, we're most obviously heavily staffed in the tracking department, but then next up we would offer, dispatching. We would offer carrier sales. We've even, got into doing some type of customer sales. We have some guys here that have a book of business and are able to deal with stuff like that. But I would say if we wanted to like pinpoint what we offer, it would be, your dispatching, your carrier sales, and your tracking slash update department or after hours, weekend teams. That's where we're gonna be obviously most heavily involved.
Sure.
But
Now,
also, not to discredit
yeah,
us, we can find you accounting, we can find you safety, we can find you fleet management. I mean, we have a lot of roles. Just the previously mentioned are going to be the heavier ones.
sure. And I think, like fleet safety, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, you need somebody to fill out paperwork, but there's also training involved. And, asking your guys, hey, dial into a Zoom call typically doesn't work so well in the trucker community. So I'm with you on that. Um, Hearing about your kind of life path, if you will, we Canada to Serbia to the US. Other than I've got global experience, kind of tell me how that kind of supports the model here.
Yeah, I mean, so I was born and raised in Toronto my entire life. My mom's American, my dad's Serbian. My dad comes back to Serbia. I end up coming on a vacation out here. I stay out here. So now my mom's also American, so I have ties to the States. And then I kind of got into logistics because I used to be a drain layer in Canada. And being a drain layer in a country where you don't speak the local language and every wall is now made out of cement instead of drywall didn't pan out so great. So I was like, I kind of need a new job. Landed in trucking somehow. That's everybody's story in logistics. Nobody was 3 years old and said I'm going to be, a dispatcher when I grow up. So end up in trucking, come out here, see the operations, see the scale of it, see the quality. I mean, the English skills out here are insane. Everybody you walk down the street you can talk to with flawless English. Saw the talent, saw the ability to get things done out here, and I was like, let me sort of because the biggest issue I would say personally with outsource is the trust factor, right? I mean, North Americans have a distrust, and as we saw in a LinkedIn post yesterday, it is earned in a lot of cases. This distrust towards outsourcing, and I think I was able to bridge that gap by being a North American born and raised, by having my dual citizenships, and saying, guys, like I'm out here. I'll fly anybody out here. Anybody that wants to take me up on their offer that doesn't trust the outsource game, I'll fly you out here. You can spend a couple days with us, see what's going on. This isn't a back alley operation. These are nice offices. These are curated places, conducting the same level of business you would see in North America. And after seeing it with my own two eyes, I was like, man, we gotta get this together because I dealt personally with some less than less than acceptable outsource practices myself as a carrier. Some brokerages hiring the dirt cheap type of outsource, gets a bad rap, bothers everyone. So I thought, we're not the cheapest, but we are up there in quality.
I've never, it's probably my own failing, but I've never thought of Serbia as a place that makes a lot of sense. You've got a lot of companies have set up operations in the Philippines. A lot of companies have set up operations in Colombia. A lot of companies have set up operations in Pakistan. Serbia's kind of, you know, other than the meme of strong Serbian Sergey as a solo driver, like it never kind of dawned on me that's a country that could be a great place for us. What are some of the other benefits of putting butts in the seats in Serbia?
Well, I mean, we've had this conversation. We've been around this conversation a lot. I have personally, and I've spent a lot of time, thankfully, in the past year or two traveling. I've been to Bosnia, I've been to Macedonia, I've been mostly through all the Balkans. I spent a lot of time in a lot of offices filming stuff, and my big take here with Serbia is that it's probably on the more expensive side. So we're not as expensive as, let's say, Poland, for example. However, we're not in the same realm as Philippines, Pakistan, the South American operations. We are more expensive. But the thing is the culture out here, right? Everybody has a 4-year university degree. Everybody has English skills. Everybody, at this point, trucking started out here to boom around 2016, 17. So we're almost 11 years in to this being part of our culture. Like, a taxi guy on the street that drives you around the major cities will know what a dispatcher is, and will have a friend that's a dispatcher or somebody's cousin's aunt or something. So the culture really is revolving around trucking. So you're having guys, instead of 1-2 years experience or never have heard of a truck, you have a culture of people that are highly educated, speak great English, and have understood that trucking's been a job out here for like a decade now.
Alex, one of the things you touched on was kind of the training module, and well, one, people understanding the industry, but I've worked with some of the companies that are doing the outsource thing and gotten tremendous value, but there was a lot of training involved. In some cases that was a lot of time on Zoom or Google Meet. In some cases that was okay. We're at that point where we need to fly a body down to our office to support these people and kind of train them up. What's the onboarding process look like if a company wants to work with you?
At Hammer Down Recruiting, we're only hiring exclusively people with experience, straight plug and play models. So these are people that know exactly what they need to be doing, how to fall into any team at any time. And it's purely plug and play. We're not going to ever give a client somebody that needs to be trained. The only, at worst case, teach them how to use your TMS, your tech stack, but the core job values will be plug and play at all times.
That's awesome. So one of my favorite questions to ask people is, and you mentioned it, I fell into trucking, which is so like, yeah, I think 90% of our industry either fell into an exact quote or, they're a legacy. Their mom, their dad, their aunt, their uncle came into it
Yeah,
because,
exactly.
and they fell that way. If you were talking to a younger version of yourself or talking to a newer recent grad who said, maybe there's something here for me, what's the piece of advice you'd give that kid?
Honestly, same thing that carried me through it all is just get in there, learn, stay extra, come in early, leave late, absorb all the knowledge you can because you can make massive leaps in not just your salary, but just your knowledge and ability to grow and maybe to work from home one day. Because I mean, I fell into work from home after my first 3, 4 years. I love it personally. I know it's not for everybody. That's not the highlight I'm trying to make here.
Right.
But when you come into logistics, if you actually enjoy the chaos and you enjoy the industry, just be a sponge. Come in early, stay late, get on LinkedIn, start asking. There's so many people that'll give you their time if you genuinely want their time and you're genuine about it. You say, hey, I'm new. I want to learn this, or start posting. Say, hey, I don't understand this, and people will help you if you're there for a genuine wanting to learn, right? So I think just
That's it.
absorbing information and wanting to be in the industry is a huge thing.
All right. So if somebody wants to jump from the Hammer Down podcast over to the Hammer Down recruiting world, what is the best way to get in touch?
It's going to be through LinkedIn. You can DM me at any time. You can shoot us an email. It's just my name, Aleks, at podcastassetbase.com. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you name it. We're probably there under Asset Base. So hit us up.
Awesome, man. He's Alex Bates. I'm Mike Bush. Thanks for listening, everybody.